A few days ago, I did a community post asking the Red Dead Online community to get creative and leave a comment with what they would like to see added to Red Dead Online most to make it a better game. Now, I did ask specifically to leave out the blatantly obvious and get creative with this because we all know how broken Red Dead Online can be. We all want robberies, heists, and ranches, so I wanted everybody to provide ideas beyond what is the blatantly obvious, and some of you came up with some really amazing ideas, and I wanted to cover them in this particular video and discuss some additions to Red Dead Online that would really make the game quite a bit better. So I do want to say thank you to everybody who responded on the community post. I've been reading through all the comments, and at first we're going to go through some of the ones that got the most likes, and then we're going to dive deeper into some of the ones that kind of got lost in the mix. But I do hope you all enjoy this particular video, and maybe if Rockstar sees this, they'll add some of these ideas into the game. You never know, but it is worth trying. Now, before we get into all of this, I do want to mention that I am a firm believer that the game really needs to be fixed before we get new content. As much as the game absolutely needs more things to do, I think at this point in time, and I've said this even 6 months ago, that before we get new content into the game, it needs to work, because the last thing Red Dead Online needs is another DLC that comes out and nobody can freaking play. I know there's plenty of people out there that have had zero issues, but there's definitely things that need to be fixed in the game to make it run better. But this video is not dedicated to that. We want to look on the positive side and things that we want in the future. We've already made tons of videos complaining about how broken the game can be. Now, with that being said, AI mods did a very long comment. It got the most likes, so we're going to go over this one. And there's a lot of things in here that I have been mentioning for a while and I think should be discussed. So he's kind of separated this into a couple different things. So one was making the trader roll deeper. So having a dog for hunting, I think, would be absolutely amazing, especially for hunting birds. I know all of you are going to say, what's the point when there's no animal spawns? This is not the video for that. But yes, having a dog for hunting would be amazing. And just like when you shoot a bird, just having the dog be able to bring it back to you would be really nice, especially if you're using the hunting wagon. And then traps for small animals you can lay out and check after a day, I think would be amazing, especially if you can kind of like have the sense where animals have been. You can use that to try and get like perfect pelts and stuff like that. I think would be a really fun idea. And just traps in general, just to make the hunting a little bit more immersive, I think would be fun. Now, maybe also being able to sell turkeys, rabbits, etc. alive. I think what would be really nice is combining this with what he said here was to use for your own farm, because in single player we did have the ability to have chickens at our camp, and that would provide supplies for your camp, or just turkeys there, and I think or chickens there. And I think it would be nice to be able to have these types of things at your camp, so where you can have like a couple turkeys and a couple rabbits or something like that, and maybe they'll breed and you get either eggs or babies, and you end up getting more of these like lower end animals that you can then sell to crypts. Since animals don't spawn in the game, this might be an easy fix to at least give you not even fixing it, but a little bit of a benefit, I suppose, of being able to farm your own animals at your camp, and eventually that could lead to farming in general with larger animals maybe. Purchase boats for fishing. I mean, sure, why not? You could steal boats, but I guess they are harder to find in online. Hunting cabin, maybe as a replacement for additional to the camp. Hunting cabins, I don't know. I don't really know if they would be much better than a camp, but I do know people want to be able to own their own stuff, so I think a hunting cabin would obviously lend to maybe like the first tier of owning your own properties and stuff like that. So, I mean, it could be a good idea, but I don't exactly know how a hunting cabin specifically would really add to what we already do for hunting. But being able to own your own property obviously is something that everybody wants. Now, roleplay and open world gameplay. Being able to spawn a camp and small tent like in story mode, which I think is definitely needed. Just being able to put a little campfire down so you can craft things up and cook food and stuff like that is nice, especially with the issues with the camp. Saloons and hotels should offer baths, rooms, and service. So I actually saw a lot of comments that went over this particular thing here. So a lot of people in saying they would like to be able to take baths, and I agree. I also miss being able to be served food in bars and stuff like that. I think it was a really nice addition to single player, and it's kind of a shame that it was removed in online. I think it should definitely be added back. Definitely having shows would be nice. nice, being able to get like a group of people and go to a show together. I mean, that's immersion. That's adding things to sync to online that's already available in single player, and all you need to do is just provide it in Red Dead Online and people will do it. I mean, the content's already there, so why not add it? All the mini games, they're already coded into the game, so why not add them? We've been asking them for like a year now. More wagons. I mean, sure, why not? Guitar, you can play the guitar down in the saloon, but you can't. It would be nice to be able to play it at your camp. 100% agree. Being able to play a guitar at your camp would be amazing, and have like little sing-alongs and stuff like that. A lot of people have been asking for second characters. Personally, I would like that because then it would allow me to do things during streams instead of just, you know, having really nothing to do on my main character. The duel system. Now, this has been something that I've been asking for a long time. Is not necessarily legendary duels, but having a the ability to be a gunslinger. Instead of just having the parlay and charge systems, you could challenge somebody to an actual duel. And this would allow you to get ranked on like gunslinger leaderboards. So that way, if you become like a legendary gunslinger, people will be seeking you out not to just hunt you down relentlessly, but to challenge you to a duel and see if they can beat you and gain your place on the gunslinger boards. This would also like be able to allow players to differentiate themselves a little bit and become like a legendary gunslinger. I think it would be awesome, and adding different rewards for that, maybe like special weapons. And if you finally take down a legendary gunslinger, maybe you get that particular weapon or something. I don't know. I think it would be really cool. Something I've been asking for an entire year to be added to the game, and maybe one day it will be. And then the last one you had listed here was the mining role, making use of several caves, gold digging, and washing at the river. Now, I don't think that they would actually offer a higher level of gold because that is how they're making money from the game. Maybe they'll offer it so that you can get the gold and then you can get it refined and get cash for that or something like that. So it would end up being like a cash system, like in-game money, rather than giving you gold. Maybe it'll give you like a tiny bit of gold and cash. Would work because they're probably going to keep it on the same level as everything else with the gold nuggets that you get in the game. But I know a lot of people have been asking for the miner role. It might be something interesting to do, but I don't think it's going to be more lucrative than anything else we have in the game, so it might fall by the wayside. Now, the next liked comment on this list is from Emily Brindle, who said she just really wants to be able to order food from the bar, and I agree, because sometimes you don't want to have to go all the way back to camp to cook your food. It'd be nice to just be able to eat a meal at a bar, maybe do some gambling and stuff like that. I've been missing it in online. I think it can be easily added, so why the hell not? Now, Dan the Man, I think, is actually onto something here that could be much better for a PvP system in free roam than just the complete anarchy that we have right now, and it kind of gives you a reason to do PvP, but in certain areas. It would be really nice to be able to actually create your own gang, rather than this horrible, atrocious posse system that we have in the game. Being able to actually form your own gang and defend points of interest for your own control would create a really nice form of free roam PvP, but the issue is, you know, we have these really, really small servers, so this kind of thing works better on like a large server where a lot of people can be in. But the problem is, like, if you control Fort Mercer and then you go onto a new server and then somebody else controls Fort Mercer, it'll probably be an issue. Or maybe Fort Mercer becomes its own like little instanced area where many people on the same server can have control of it. But only if you have defeated another gang to gain control of it, and you have to defend it. I don't know how it would work, but it would definitely be something interesting to have an actual gang system in the game where you can share funds, share materials, share items and stuff like that. An actual trading system in the game would be amazing for just adding more immersion, being able to have a reason to actually communicate with other players rather than it just still always feeling like you're playing single player but in an online environment with people shooting you in the face all the time. I do think having a proper gang system would really benefit Red Dead Online. Kiefer Guerrero mentioned getting tattoos. I really would like to be able to get tattoos. I mentioned tribal art from Native American tribes and more Native American cosmetics like headdresses, war paint, and clothes. I think would be amazing because I do know, and I have seen some really great Native American role players in the game where they created really great outfits, and I've actually interacted with some of them, and it's just really, really cool. And being able to add more role play ability to that particular role, I think would be really nice. So Blue Nova Corgi mentioned bull or bronco riding challenges. We have the system in the game to be able to facilitate that already. And how cool would it be like having like an area, that little like arena in the back of Valentine, where you can actually go and watch other players do this and maybe like even gamble on it for like if he's going to actually complete it or not. And just having that extra level of immersion where players can actually congregate and talk to each other and interact in a better way than just shooting each other in the face or just waving at each other, I think would be really nice. Then we've got cattle and horse branding and herding, more saddle color options, more brindle variations using a bit or choosing not to would be nice. I agree with that. Better looking stirrups, absolutely. We need some better looking stirrups, especially for the highest tier. Breast straps for horse tack and such, more white or Palomino Bay colored horses would be nice too. So I think Kid Antrim is onto something here with a nice way to segue into eventually being able to own your own ranch, because we do know that Rockstar really wants to slowly evolve particular roles, and being able to be a ranch hand or cowpoke at first on somebody else's ranch would be a really nice way to facilitate this, in my opinion. So be able to do things like bring a herd into an auction and provide care and protection from predators for them along the way. A cattle rustler could be really cool also, being able to travel across the map to steal a herd from a rival livestock business. And as a ranch hand, you could shear sheep, butcher animals, brand livestock, break and train horses, you name it. And this could all be done while working for somebody else to eventually be able to own your own ranch down the road. And I think that's a perfect way to start it off. SA Racing here just wants a cat, and hey, if we can get dogs, then give this person a cat. Why not, right? Jimbo88 has mentioned bare knuckle fighting. The more you progress, the faster and stronger or tougher your character gets, plus unlock different strikes and moves. And the interesting thing about this is in single player, there is actually a ton of different fighting moves that's not even available in single player, but it is coded into the game. And this could be transitioned into online to be able to add some development to bare knuckle fighting, which I think would be really nice. And I have been mentioning for a long time that being able to have underground fight clubs, especially now that we have a speakeasy, adding like a fight club section to the speakeasy would be amazing. Then we can bet on that. We can have people go in and fight each other. It's really another way of creating a better form of PvP, and being able to develop that through this kind of thing would be really nice. So Crunchy Frog here has a couple different things here. Playable Native American characters, be able to live in a village, hunt, and go on raids at settlements and forts. Random events based on classic westerns, I think would be perfect. I mean, the world is ripe for this kind of thing, and especially having more events in free roam. They've definitely done a good job at making free roam feel more alive when you're actually on a server that actually works, but definitely adding more free roam activities for people to go to and meet up in free roam would be really nice. Railroad-based jobs where you could eventually become a railroad baron, which is something that Rockstar has already mentioned doing. And this one here, I think would be really nice for having events throughout the year. A county fair that could be a meeting place for anyone online. You could have events like boxing, poker, horse racing, shooting contests and shows, and maybe a job board to recruit posse members. I think would be all amazing stuff. I think the job board to recruit posse members would be separate than the county fair, but definitely having a county fair, because one of my favorite things in online games is these festival events that happen. Like Monster Hunter World is really good at having festivals where it changes like the entire look of the game. You have festival themed quests and stuff like that, and I think Red Dead Online could really benefit from like a county fair, because that is like a big thing back in the day. There's not a lot of things to do back in the olden days, and county fairs and stuff like that is a big thing where people can go get some entertainment for a few days, and I think it should be something that happens in Red Dead Online. Now, I wasn't planning on mentioning my comment that I left on here because I've discussed it in many other videos, but as I was reading through all of these comments, there was a lot of people that mentioned this in addition to my comment, so I feel like to give them a voice and me a voice again, I'm going to mention that I would really like to have horse training and breeding. Now, being able to tame, train, and sell wild horses would give them a reason to even exist beyond taking away animal spawns, and breeding horses could add a ton of replay value to the game. Not only being able to breed for better stats, but colors and temperament would be nice too, so that way you can have more variety in the top tier horses, and being able to breed for temperament would be really nice to make it more of like a battle horse or really good at walking up cliffs or something, so that way it's not always running off the edge. Once you get a foal that you like, you can then train them to specialize in certain aspects of the game like speed, temperament, endurance, strength for pulling carts longer and faster would be amazing, and it would add tons of replayability. Because then you might get like a Missouri Foxtrotter that is super strong for pulling carts or has really high endurance, and then you might want one that has like a really solid temperament, or you might want to make one that's just absolutely crazy so that when you do stuff, weird things happen because your horse never listens. Who knows? The ability to assign horses to your carts would also benefit from this, because I think that would be really nice. Because, I mean, it's just kind of lame not being able to put your own horses on your cart. Now, Rockstar should also add the ability to sell horses to other players. This would add a much-needed interaction feature to the game and allow a player to become a reputable horse trader in the game, which I think is something that really needs to happen. There needs to be ways for characters to differentiate themselves from everybody else. Even just being able to add titles or earn titles throughout the game, so that way people can know like what you do and stuff like that, and be able to see that in the player menu, rather than just everybody always feeling like they're exactly the same because everybody uses like the same horses, the same weapons, the same clothes. But being able to differentiate yourself and gain a reputation in the game and make it feel like something you can actually immerse yourself in would be very beneficial. Now, not only can this horse training and breeding give all of that, but it can also lead to many other things like legitimate horse racing and betting, which I think would be very beneficial. But there's actually a lot of comments on here, and I want to do more videos or just more community interaction like this, where we kind of discuss what we would like to see. And I don't know, I really like this format for a video. Let me know what you guys thought. And if you did like it, make sure to slap that like button. Feel free to subscribe for more content, and I'll see you all in the next one.